Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, I'll be reviewing AEW Dynamite for December 30th, 2020. And on this edition of AEW Dynamite, it was a tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee, John Huber, Luke Harper. And last night's show, it was all about Mr. Brodie Lee. It was all about the Dark Order and Mr. Brodie Lee. And, you know, it was six mans and tag team matches, with each Dark Order member. And so, yeah, it was a great tribute show. It was, it was an emotional night. And I thought AEW did a wonderful job. They did a fantastic job with this tribute show. And so yeah, we this was the final Dynamite before the final Dynamite of 2020. And you know the things that was supposed to happen on this show, it was pushed back. The championship match between Phoenix and Kenny Omega, all that stuff was pushed back into next week's show because of Mr. Brodie Lee's passing. So we, so they had to, you know, they decided to celebrate Mr. Brodie Lee's life last night, and which is the right move, which is the right move. Mr. Brodie Lee, he deserves all the respect. His family deserves the respect. And last night they did a great job. AEW did a great job with this tribute show. And so yeah, we started off the show with the 10 bell salute. You had the roster, you had the entire roster on the stage, and you had Mr. Brodie Lee's wife, and you had his two sons. We had his two sons. We had Nolan, the youngest, the 3-year-old, and we had Mr. Brodie Jr. or Brodie Lee Jr., who is -1 in the Dark Order, and so he was there too, and he was wearing a Dark Order mask, and so they did the 10 bell salute, and right after this they showed, you had throughout the night people were paying, they were showing their tribute, they were paying tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee, and so the first tribute we had Jon Moxley. So Jon Moxley, he had something he wanted to say about Mr. Brodie Lee, and so this is what he said.
I've never had a harder time coming up with words in front of a camera than right now. What more can be said about Brodie Lee that hasn't already been said, but that's the comforting part. To see the outpouring, the incredible outpouring from all over the world, from the fans who respected Brodie Lee to all the people in this business that he touched with his presence, his smile, his sarcastic wit, his levity. Brodie liked to stir the pot. He liked to get guys all riled up just for the entertainment of the locker room. And that's the kind of guy he was. He brought joy to the people around him. I had the privilege of spending over a decade with Brodie on a journey from armories and bingo halls to packed arenas and stadiums. Brodie loved being a dad, husband and father above all else. This was just a job. He used to tell me about it all the time. Oh, it's great, you're gonna love it. No, not for me. I like being able to do whatever I want. Stay out all night, order Chinese food at 2 a.m. He says I wouldn't trade you for the world. And 2020 has hit us all hard over and over and over, some harder than others. But this, to give an analogy that I think Brodie would like, is like a pride soccer style kick right to the face of the pro wrestling community. But when I think of what I've learned over this year, as the calendar turns over to 2021, when I think of Amanda and the kids, I realize that's exactly what pro wrestling is. It's a community. It's not just a sport. It is a community. When the chips are down, we support each other. We love each other. Men and women from all over the world brought together by this one thing that we love. And tonight we come together again to rage against the dying of the light, to celebrate a great human being whose legacy, I hope, inspires us all to be a little bit better of a person every single day, to appreciate the people we love around us every single day, to appreciate, stop and smell the roses every single sunset, every sunrise, every day. I know I will. Because every day is a gift, every day is special. And every day that I got to spend with Brodie, it was just all the more special, and I'm grateful for that. And I love you, brother. And I'll never forget you.
So yeah, that's what Jon Moxley said about Mr. Brodie Lee. You know. And so yeah, right after this, we had a 6-man tag team match. It was Hardy Party, Matt Hardy, Marq Quen, and Isiah Kassidy versus the Youngbucks, the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Youngbucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, with Colt Cabana of the Dark Order. And so, yeah, it was a 6-man tag. So yeah, when Cabana came out, you know, Colt Cabana, he didn't come out to his regular theme music. He came out to the Dark Order's theme music because he's a part of the Dark Order. And so when Cabana came out, you know, Cabana came out to the ring, and dude, I saw him, you know, when he came out to the ring, he was crying. He was crying, and when I saw him crying, and when I saw his eyes, you know, all watery and red, that's when I started to cry. You know, I cried during the show, and you know, Colt Cabana, he made me cry. And you know, Chris Jericho on commentary, he said, you know, if you gotta cry, you know, it's okay, you know, let it out, man. And so yeah, that's what I did, man. I was crying. And so yeah, we started off this match with Cabana and Kassidy. And so we had an uppercut to Isiah Kassidy from Colt Cabana. We had a triple team move to Private Party and Matt Hardy from the Bucks and Colt Cabana. We had a tope con hero from Matt Jackson onto Private Party and Matt Hardy. And we had a springboard moonsault from Colt Cabana to Hardy Party. We had a super kick to Matt Hardy from Matt Jackson. And, you know, the heels there are taking control. We had Matt Hardy and Private Party. They took control of this match. And in the crowd, they chanted, "We want Colt." And so we had a side effect to Matt Jackson from Matt Hardy. We had a twist of fate to Matt Hardy from Matt Jackson. And then we had a hot tag. We had a hot tag to Colt Cabana. He gives out moonsaults and elbow strikes, and he delivered head scissors. We had a diving crossbody to Colt Cabana from Marq Quen. Cabana kicks out, and then Matt accidentally knocks off his partners off the top rope. So I think it was one of the Bucks. They pushed Matt Hardy into the ropes, and so one of the Private Party guys fell off the ropes. And then we had a super kick to Matt Hardy. And then we had Matt Hardy. You know, Matt Hardy, he tries to, Matt Hardy, he takes out Colt Cabana and Nick Jackson outside of the ring. So Matt Hardy, he was, you know, they were acting heelish in this match. And we had a gin and juice to Nick Jackson. And we had a twist of fate. We had a twist of fate to Nick Jackson, followed up by a shooting star press and a splash. We had a splash and then a shooting star press to Nick Jackson from Marq Quen. And then at one point we had Matt Hardy. He brings in a chair. And then Cabana, he takes out Matt Hardy. And then we had super kicks to Private Party and Matt Hardy. We had the Chicago Skyline. So Colt Cabana, he goes for his Chicago Skyline to Marq Quen. And then we had the Bucks hit their Indie Taker finishing move. And we had and then it was an indie taker to it was an indie taker to Marq Quen, follow up by a Superman pin from Colt Cabana to Marq Quen to win the match. So Colt Cabana picks up the pinfall victory, and so Young Bucks and Colt Cabana, they win the match. And they were celebrating, the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana, they were celebrating together. And the acclaim, they came out and interrupted all of this. And they confronted the Bucks. And then right after this, we had SCU, Christopher Daniels, and Frankie Kazarian. They threw the acclaim inside of the ring. And we had a super kick. We had a super kick party to the acclaim from the Bucks, follow up by a bionic elbow to the acclaim from Colt Cabana. And so SCU, the Bucks, and Colt Cabana, they celebrated together. And so yeah, that was the end of this first match. So the Dark Order, they're 1-0 tonight. And so right after this, we had Darby Allin's tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. And here's what he had to say.
Was when he debuted in AEW, and I remember going up to Sammy Guevara and telling him, I don't care, I want to wrestle that guy. That guy is the #1 person on my list I want to wrestle. I was so excited that he came to AEW, and I'd go up to him and I'd talk to him, but I found out really quick that there was no ego with Brodie. He wasn't here to take someone's spot, he was here to elevate us all. And that was the biggest thing with him that I cherished. He wasn't about tearing people down, he wasn't selfish, he'd want to lift everybody up. And just picking his brain in the hallway, whether it was in the hotel or at the show, he had so much knowledge that he was willing to share with all the young guys. Like I said, there was no ego with him. And, yeah, he was the man, by far. #1 dude I wish I could have wrestled.
And yeah, that's what Darby Allin had to say about Mr. Brodie Lee, his tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. And, I would have loved to seen a match between them two, man. Mr. Brodie Lee and Darby Allin for the TNT Championship. I would have loved to see that. If Brodie Lee never would have dropped the title to Cody, it was a match that I think everybody wanted to see, because Mr. Brodie Lee, he was the champion. He beat the piss out of Cody Rhodes to beat that, to get the championship. And so we thought the next challenger was going to be Darby Allin, and that would have been a great match. That would have been a great match. Because Mr. Brodie Lee, he could work with anybody. You put Mr. Brodie Lee in the ring with anybody, man, it'll be a great match. Because that's how great he was. That's how great of a wrestler he was, man. And so yeah, right after this, we had another match. We had a 6-man tag. And so we had the Dark Order. We had Evil Uno and Stu Grayson of the Dark Order with Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts. So they all came out together to the Dark Order's theme music. And Lance Archer, he comes out dressed as Luke Harper of the Wyatt family, one of Brodie Lee's characters in WWE when he was in the Wyatt family, Luke Harper. So Lance Archer, he was dressed as Luke Harper. So it was the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and Lance Archer with Jake the Snake Roberts in their corner versus Eddie Kingston, the Butcher, and the Blade with the Bunny in their corner. And so yeah, we had the Dark Order. So yeah, this match, we had the Dark Order and Lance Archer. They were using each other as weapons to take out Eddie Kingston and the family. And the baby faces, they were taking control of the match, and then the heels, they took control. We had a power slam to Stu Grayson. Grayson kicks out, and Stu, he hits a big boss man slam, a big boss slam Big Boss Man slam to one of the, I think it was the Blade. So Stu Grayson, he paying homage to Mr. Brodie Lee because Mr. Brodie Lee used to hit that move, the Big Boss Man slam. And so the Bunny, she gets involved in this match as well. So the Bunny, she gets involved in the match. She kicks Evil Uno in the gut while he was laying outside the ring. And we had Evil Uno and Eddie Kingston. They were going back and forth, with strikes, and they were slapping each other. And we had a half and half suplex to Kingston from Evil Uno. We had a hot tag to Lance Archer. He delivers elbow strikes and splashes. And then he goes for the old school, turned into a moonsault. So he hits the old school, turns into a moonsault. And we had a pounce. We had a pounce to the Butcher from Lance Archer. We had a DDT to Stu Grayson. So Eddie Kingston hit Stu Grayson with the DDT. So he rubbing it into Jake Roberts' face. So yeah, we had a crossbody. We had a crossbody to the Blade from Lance Archer. And we had an apron. We had an apron DDT to the Butcher from Stu Grayson. And then we had the fatality. We had the dark. We had Evil Uno and Stu Grayson's tag team finishing move, the fatality to the Blade to win the match. So Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson with Lance Archer wins the match. And so right after the match, they brought Eddie Kingston inside the ring, and they were taking turns at beating Eddie Kingston up. So we had strikes, we had punches from Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, and we had Jake the Snake Roberts. He hits a short arm clothesline to Eddie Kingston to knock him out of the ring. And so yeah, that was it. And so yeah, right after this we had another tribute. We had another tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee from Dax Harwood and Dax Harwood, Arn Anderson, Colt Cabana, and Bryce Remsburg. So yeah, I couldn't find a video on this one, but basically what they were saying is that, Brodie Lee, he was, how, they were saying that Mr. Brodie Lee, all he cared about was his family, and putting his family first, and how great of a father he was, and how he couldn't wait to see his kids when he got home. And he was the guy that always, made sure his kids, made sure, how can I put it? He made sure that his family was his top priority. And we had Bryce Remsburg, Bryce Remsburg, the referee in the AEW. He was crying. And when I saw him crying, I was like, man, come on, man, please do not make me cry. And Bryce Remsburg, he was like, if there were a Mount Rushmore, if there were a Mount Rushmore, and if there were a Mount Rushmore of wrestling dads, Brodie Lee would be on that Mount Rushmore. And so yeah, that was the end of the video, and that's what they had to say about Mr. Brodie Lee. And so yeah, right after this we had Hangman Adam Page and John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order versus the Inner Circle. We had the Inner Circle. We had MJF with Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. And so yeah, John Silver, he was wearing Mr. Brodie Lee's. He was wearing Mr. Brodie Lee's ring gear. It was a gift that Mr. Brodie Lee gave to him, but obviously it was John Silver's size, so he made it, because John Silver, yeah. So yeah, it was a size. Man, how can I put it? Yeah, it was a size. Like the ring gear was John Silver's size, and so yeah, he was wearing Mr. Brodie Lee's ring gear, but it was John Silver's size. And then we had MJF. He was wearing the Proud and Powerful. He was wearing Proud and Powerful ring gear. Santana and Ortiz, what they all wear to the ring, he was wearing their ring gear. With the Inner Circle, he had the entire Inner Circle ringside. Hager wasn't there, but you had Guevara, you had Wardlow. Jericho was on commentary the entire night, so he was there. So yeah, we had Silver and Reynolds. They do Mr. Brodie Lee like Mr. Brodie Lee and being the elite, how he'll smack Evil Uno with those papers. That's what they did. That's what they did in this match. To pay homage to Mr. Brodie Lee. And we had Hangman Page did the same thing to MJF. And so MJF is out of the ring. And we had MJF, he gets into Mr. Brodie Lee's son, Brodie Jr. And he was talking trash. He was talking trash to Mr. Brodie Lee's son. And so we had a crossbody to John Silver from Santana. We had an elbow strike. We had elbow strikes to. Oh no, we had a European uppercut to Santana. We had a Three Amigos. We had Three Amigos to Alex Reynolds from Proud and Powerful. Proud and Powerful. We had the clotheslines. So yeah, we had Adam Hangman Page. He tags in. He gets a hot tag. He delivers clotheslines and follow-away slams. And we had a triple team. We had a triple team move from the inner circle to Hangman Page. And we had MJF, man. MJF, he gives Brodie Lee Jr. the finger. He gives him the finger. Of course MJF would do something like that. And so yeah, Silver, he tags in. And Silver takes out everybody, man. Silver, he looked good in this match. Silver, he took out everybody in this match. Silver was all over the place. And so we had a crossbody to Ortiz. And we had a powerbomb to Ortiz. We had a springboard cutter to Silver from Santana. And we had Silver fighting back. And we had a heat seeker. We had a heat seeker to John Silver from MJF. And at one point, Wardlow, he gets in the ring. He gets involved in the match behind the referee's back. He takes out Alex Reynolds. And then right after he took out Alex Reynolds, we had out of nowhere Eric Redbeard, the former Eric Rowan of the Wyatt family, or the Bludgeon Brothers, takes out Wardlow. And so, yeah, he took out Wardlow. And we had a buckshot lariat to Ortiz from Hangman Adam Page. And then we had MJF. He goes outside the ring again, harassing Mr. Brodie Lee's son, Brodie Jr. And he takes off Brodie Lee Jr.'s Dark Order mask. So he took it off. And then Brodie Lee Jr., he had a kendo stick. He had a kendo stick in his hand. And he just hits MJF with the kendo stick. So yeah, I thought that was funny. I thought that was really funny. And then we had a discus clothesline. We had a discus clothesline to Ortiz from John Silver, paying homage to Mr. Brodie Lee with that discus clothesline. So yeah, they pick up the win. The Dark Order, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and Hangman Adam Page win the match. And so that makes them what, 2-0? 3-0, right? Yeah, 3-0. 3-0. So the Dark Order tonight, they are 3-0. And so yeah, they were celebrating together. You had Page, Silver, Reynolds, and Eric Rowan, or Eric Redbeard, whatever you want to call him. They were celebrating together. And then Redbeard, he had a sign. He held up a sign that said, "Goodbye for now, my brother. See you down the road." That was the same message that he posted on social media about Mr. Brodie Lee. And so yeah, right after this, John, so yeah, they were celebrating together. And yeah, and Eric Rowan, he holds up the sign, "Goodbye for now, my brother. See you down the road." And that was it. And so, yeah, right after this, we had Eddie Kingston, his tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee, not Mr. Brodie Lee Jr., Mr. Brodie Lee. He had a tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. So this is what he said.
Brodie, Johnny, I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you busting my balls. I'm gonna miss yelling at you when you had that stupid jacket on and calling you Harry Potter, and you telling me that you're rich.
I'm going to miss you believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. I want to tell Brodie Jr. and the little rhino, your father's not gone. As long as you're alive and you remember him and you remember his teachings, he's never gone. Your father wasn't just a warrior in the ring. Your father was a warrior outside of it. And when I mean a warrior outside of it, I mean he took care of his family. Many men don't do that nowadays. Your father took care of you and loved you. From the day you both were born, he loved you so much. Brodie, you're an inspiration to me.
Oh. Wait a minute. Hey, that was the end of the video? So yeah. Oh. So yeah, that's what Eddie Kingston said. He was he was an inspiration to him. And yeah. This is on their YouTube. But yeah, anyway, yeah, that was it from Eddie Kingston. And so yeah, right after this we had another tag team match. It was from the women. It was Ty Conti and Anna Jay of the Dark Order, number 99, versus Britt Baker and Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian, Miro, and Rebel in their corner. And so yeah, we had Jay. She goes for a Queen Slayer to Britt Baker. Baker escapes. We had a release German suplex to Conti from Ford. We had a gut buster to Conti from Ford. Conti kicks out. We had a double pump kick. So Penelope Ford and Ty Conti, they took each other out with a pump kick to each other. And we had a hot tag to Anna Jay. She delivers clotheslines and neck breakers. And we had a sling blade from Britt Baker to Conti. And we had a side kick to Britt Baker from Anna Jay. And then right after that, we had Jay. She gets emotional. You know, she took her eye off of the ball by getting emotional. And then Britt Baker, she attacks Anna Jay from behind and delivers her fisherman neckbreaker to Anna Jay. And Jay kicks out. And then we had a blockbuster to Anna Jay from Penelope Ford. And Anna Jay, she kicks out. We had a Queen Slayer to Penelope Ford from Anna Jay to win the match. So yeah, she delivers the Queen Slayer, and Conti, she stops. So yeah, Baker and Rebel, they try to stop the submission move, and so Conti, she took both of them out. So Anna Jay, she wins the match with the Queen Slayer. So the Dark Order, they are what, 4-0 now? They're 4-0, and they picked up the win. And so right after the match, you know, they celebrated together and they left. And then we had Tony Schiavone, you know, gets in the ring and he interviews Britt Baker. Britt Baker calls Tony Schiavone to the ring. And so, yeah, Britt, she says that, you know, she said that everything was rigged. You know, everything is rigged. You know, tonight is rigged. You know, everything is rigged. And so Thunder Rosa, she attacks Britt Baker. She attacks Britt Baker from behind. And, you know, referees are trying to break it up. And so, yeah, that was it. That was the end of the match. And so, yeah, right after this. So, yeah, right after this, we had Chris Jericho. We had Chris Jericho, his tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. So, yeah, we had Chris Jericho's tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. And this is what he said.
I had the pleasure of working with Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, 27 times. And I know this because Alex Marvez told me that today. And one of those times was in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I was in my room and I was looking at the ceiling and there was this mark on the ceiling. I thought it was a bug at first, and I thought somebody had just put a sticker up there. It was really annoying me. And Brodie came to my room to hang out, and I was telling him, look at this sticker on the ceiling. What is this? I hate it. It's bugging me. He says, it's not a sticker. that's the arrow pointing to Mecca. And I was like, how do you know that? He's like, everybody knows that. I'm like, I didn't know that. And that sums up who Brodie was. A giant, but very intelligent, very smart, very funny, sarcastic sense of humor. Knew all of this trivia that he could just spew out of his mouth at any moment's notice. He was also one of the best performers in the ring that I've worked with. And I'm not just saying that because he's gone. I believed in him. I helped bring him into AEW. And one of the small mercies about all of this is the last 6 months of his career, he proved to everybody what he knew he could be, which was a main event star, a legit money-making star, pay-per-view headliner. And I'll end it with this. I have a dog, a silver lab. Her name is Oakley. She's very angry towards strangers, very barking, not the friendliest of dogs. John came to my house. He walked in the door, and Oakley came right over and started licking his hand right away. Even she knew what a great person Jon Huber was. I love you, Brodie, and we're going to miss you, man. We promise we'll take care of you, your family. We promise.
So yeah, man, that's what Jericho had to say. You know, his tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee. And you know, I actually saw that post. You know, it was on Facebook. It was, you know, yeah, he posted about, you know, him coming over to his house and his dog, you know, not liking many strangers, but the dog liked Mr. Brodie Lee. And if you have a dog that don't like many strangers, and a dog like Mr. Brodie Lee, that shows you how great of a person Mr. Brodie Lee was. So yeah, man. So yeah, right after this we had Team Taz. So yeah, this was the last match. This was the last match, and this match was booked by Brodie Lee Jr. And this was his dream match. And so it was Team Taz. It was Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and Will Hobbs, or Powerhouse Hobbs, whatever you want to call him, with Taz and Hook in their corner, versus Cody Rhodes with Arn Anderson in his corner, Orange Cassidy, and number 10 of the Dark Order. So yeah, Orange Cassidy was Brodie Lee Jr. favorite wrestler, so that's why he picked Orange Cassidy. And of course, 10 is a part of the Dark Order, so you have to include 10. And Cody Rhodes was his favorite, or is his favorite. So yeah, we had Starks and Cody Rhodes. They going back and forth with chops. We had an uppercut to Ricky Starks from Cody Rhodes. Cody, you know, yeah, during this match we had Cody Rhodes. He was hesitant to tag in number 10. Because, you know, the Nightmare Family and the Dark Order, they have a feud. So, yeah, he was hesitant to tag in number 10. And so yeah, 10 he ended up tagging in. We had a wheelbarrow German suplex to Starks from number 10. And we had Kassidy. Yeah, Kassidy, 1 point, gets in his match. He delivers his most devastating kicks to Will Hobbs. And Kassidy, he tries to go for his swinging DDT. And Hobbs he muscled him up. He muscled up Orange Cassidy and delivered a power slam, a beautiful power slam to Orange Cassidy. And we had a clothesline to Orange Cassidy from Hobbs. And we had Cage, he curls up Cassidy into a follow-away slam. We had a delayed vertical suplex to Cassidy from Hobbs, Cage, and Ricky Starks. At least Ricky Starks, he tried to. And then Cassidy, he reverses it and turns it into a suplex of his own. And so, yeah, we had a hot tag to Cody Rhodes. He delivers clotheslines and power slams. And, you know, 10 he tags in, does the same thing, deliver clotheslines and power slams. And we had number 10 hit the Brodie bomb, the power bomb that Brodie Lee does. The power bomb to Ricky Starks from number 10. And we had a spear. We had a spear to number 10 from Ricky Starks. And Orange Cassidy, he breaks up the pin. And then we had a tornado DDT. We had a tornado DDT to number 10 from Ricky Starks. And 10 kicks out. Then we had Taz. He brings in a chair. So he brings in a chair. And then Arn Anderson on the other side of the ring, not inside of the ring, but outside of the ring, he bring in a chair too. So they had a face off while they had chairs in their hands. And so we had an orange punch. You know, while this stuff was going on, we had an orange punch and a crossroads to Ricky Starks. So Orange Cassidy hits Ricky Starks with the orange punch, and then Cody Rhodes delivers the crossroads to Ricky Starks. And then number 10, he goes for his his signature spine buster to Ricky Starks to win the match. So yeah, the Dark Order wins. So it's a clean sweep. So the Dark Order, they won all their matches tonight. And so we had Team Taz, Team Taz with Hook attack Cody Rhodes, 10, and Kassidy. So this is the first time Hook got physical on AEW Dynamite. And so yeah, they took out, they attacked Rhodes, 10, and Kassidy, and then the lights cut off, and then Darby music, his music plays. Darby Allin music plays, and so Darby Allin, he walks from the crowd where Jon Moxley comes out to the ring from the crowd, and he walks, and then the lights goes out again. The lights cut off again, and so the lights cut off, and then Sting music plays. So Sting comes out to the ring from the the same area that Darby came from, and so yeah. Sting was there. He had his baseball bat, and it's snowing again. And they were walking together. Sting and Darby Allin, they were walking together to the ring while Team Taz, they got out of there. And they were standing on the stage. And so yeah, they got in the ring, and they were standing side by side with Cody Rhodes, 10, Kassidy, and Darby Allin and Sting. They were standing together with Cody Rhodes and number 10 and Orange Cassidy. And so they stared off Team Taz, and that was it. And yeah, I think Sting want to wrestle. I think he wants to wrestle. That's all I gotta say. I think he wants to wrestle. Whether it's a cinematic match, that's what I think it is, a cinematic match. But yeah, against who? I don't know. And so yeah, right after this, we had our final tribute. We had our final tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee, and it was from Cody Rhodes. Yeah, it was from Cody Rhodes. So this is what happened. I can't show you the video package of Mr. Brodie Lee's because it's it got music playing, so I can't show you guys that, or I can't play it out. But this is what Cody said.
I was looking for a quote, just something that would encapsulate somebody like Brodie Lee, and I came across this Samuel Johnson quote. I probably will butcher it, but I think you'll understand it. It says, "You can judge a man's character by how he treats somebody who can do him no good." Over the past week, we've heard all these stories of all these different people, these degrees of separation who were positively affected by Brodie Lee. There has never been a wrestler in every company, in every locker room, with every member of management to have that one-to-one connection, and that's why everyone is affected so deeply. In short, he was a beautiful man. And he leaves behind a beautiful legacy, and I want to introduce to you that legacy right now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome -1 Brodie Lee Jr.
Oh yeah, and I can't play the music either. Because they came out to Mr. Brodie Lee. They came out to Mr. Brodie Lee theme music, so I can't play it. Yeah, I can't play the sound. But yeah, man. when you had so many people, from different companies, man, coming together and say all these positive things about Mr. Brodie Lee, that shows you how great of a human being he was, man. So yeah, right now, yeah, they came out to the ring. It's Brodie Lee Jr., his wife, number 10 with Tony Khan. They came out to the ring, and they have Mr. Brodie Lee's boots. Yeah, Mr. Brodie Lee's boots, and Cody Rhodes has Mr. Brodie Lee's handkerchief and placed it on top of Mr. Brodie Lee's boots in the middle of the ring. So yeah, they put the boots and the handkerchief in the middle of the ring. And Brodie Lee Jr. wearing a Dark Order mask with a nice suit on. You know, everybody wearing their armband, their Brodie Lee armband. Tony Khan.
You, your family, these boots are retired. Your father, the greatest TNT champion, with all due respect, the greatest TNT champion we've ever had. To you and your family, the TNT champion for life.
TNT champion for life. To Brodie Lee Jr. And that's the TNT championship. They retired that look of the TNT championship. And they're going to design another championship, another TNT championship. Because Mr. Brodie Lee was synonymous with that design of the TNT championship.
Holding the title that.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. We're here to honor one of not only wrestling's greatest champions, but one of wrestling's greatest men, and a man who has one of wrestling's greatest families. And they're here tonight, and we put a special tribute together, and there's no better way for us to end the show tonight than this. So here's a tribute to a great man. Here's a tribute to Mr. Brodie Lee.
And yeah, like I said, I can't play it because I got music playing over it. But if you haven't watched it, man, if you haven't watched this tribute video, go out and watch it. That tribute video is well done. Well done. Whoever made that video, man, they deserve a pat on the back. Kudos to them, man. That was a great video package of Mr. Brodie Lee. A great tribute video. And so you had pictures of him, you know, in his early career with WWE stars and, you know, with AEW stars, you know, pictures of him with his wife, his kids. And yeah, I'm watching the video right now. Yeah, his son. You have a picture of him with his son right now. His wife. Yeah, and you know, times of him in the WWE, you had pictures with him with Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt. You see Bray Wyatt in the picture too, in the video. And you saw Seth Rollins. You saw Seth Rollins in there. And Corey Graves. You saw Corey Graves in there one time. They were there too. You know, his skits and being elite, you see that stuff too. I'm telling you, man, if you guys haven't watched it yet, go out and watch it, man. Go out and watch that tribute video. The best tribute video. But yeah, man, that was it with Dynamite. That was it with Dynamite. That was the review for Dynamite. And you know, oh yeah, another thing, they signed Mr. Brodie Lee's kids to AEW legitimately. They signed them to a contract. So yeah, when they become of age, you know, they get to work there. Like if he wants to, like, you know, if they want to become wrestlers, which I think they will. I think they will become wrestlers. They will join their father, you know, follow his footsteps and become wrestlers. I think they will. You know, when they become of age, they will, you know, they will go to AEW. And so yeah. And you know, Mr. Brodie Lee's t-shirt, the t-shirt that came out, Exalted in Heaven, that shirt sold out. Well, I don't know if it's sold out yet. I was thinking, man, it's gonna sell out. But it's the highest selling shirt of 2020. Orange Cassidy was the highest selling shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees, but in 2020. But now Mr. Brodie Lee, he beat that. He beat that in 4 hours, man. He beat that in 4 hours. Like right after the shirt was released, 4 hours. Man, that and then all the money is going towards his family. The proceeds is going to his family. You had wrestlers going out too, and donated their proceeds. Donated their money, their pro wrestling tees money to Mr. Brodie Lee's family. Guys like CM Punk and Mick Foley, they went out and they donated their money to Hubert's family. And EC3, and I'm pretty sure there's more people that's done it. But yeah, man, yeah, this was a great tribute show to Mr. Brodie Lee, and kudos to AEW. Kudos to AEW for this show, for this tribute show. And you had people from WWE watching too. People from WWE that watched last night's show, and it was a great show, a great tribute show. And just like what I said, man, I was saying, if you have people from both companies, all over the world, everybody around the wrestling world, you have all these people coming out and saying nothing but nice things to Mr. Brodie Lee. That shows you how great of a man he was, how great of a human being this man was, and how much of a great father he was. He's a guy that cared about his family, that always put his family first. And so yeah, man. And kudos to WWE too. Kudos to WWE too, man. They allowed people to go out and pay homage to Mr. Brodie Lee. And I think they made a tribute video, if I'm not mistaken. They made a tribute video as well of Luke Harper, which he was known as in WWE. But yeah, man, once again, man, my thoughts and my prayers goes out to his family, to Mr. Hubert's family, to Mr. Brodie Lee's family, to his family, his wife, his sons, and everybody that got a chance to know him and got a chance to work with him. My thoughts and my prayers go out to y'all too, man. And this death, man, this Mr. Brodie Lee's death, it hurt all of us. A lot of people are still shocked. And yeah, man, I'm still shocked. And it's something that it's something that's gonna be felt for a long time. Him passing away, it's gonna be something that's it's gonna be felt for a long time, because Mr. Brodie Lee, he was special. He was that important piece. Just like I said this in my last video. He was important. He was that important piece in AEW. And him joining AEW was a career resurgence for him. Was a career resurgence for Mr. Brodie Lee. And and that's it, man. That's it. Former NXT Tag Team Champion, former Intercontinental Champion. He was a member of the Wyatt family, which was his big break in WWE. Intercontinental Champion, Tag Team Champion, NXT Tag Team Champion. Left WWE, went to AEW, was career resurgence for him. He became the Exalted One in the Dark Order, became the TNT Champion, legitimized the Dark Order, made them into a threat in AEW. Mr. Brodie Lee, like everybody that Mr. Brodie Lee was around, he made them better. He made them stronger. And I enjoyed him. I enjoyed him in the Being the Elite skits, his interactions with John Silver and Alex Reynolds and Evil Uno and everybody else. His interactions with everybody, man. I enjoyed it in BTE. The Dark Order was the best segment in Being the Elite. And that's because of Mr. Brodie Lee, man. Like just like what I said before, everybody that Mr. Brodie Lee was around, he made them better. Everybody enjoyed him. They enjoyed his company. They loved being around him. But yeah, man. But yeah, this is a great tribute show. Great tribute show to Mr. Brodie Lee. And once again, man. My thoughts and my prayers go out to his family. And you know, because they really need the prayers, because you know they just lost somebody. They lost somebody that they love. And, and his T-shirt, the Exalted in Heaven T-shirt, I did order mine, so it should be coming in. But yeah, man, and that's it, man. And yeah, once again, man, Mr. Brodie Lee, we love you and we miss you.